Hello fellow hunters of blue and welcome to another P.A.B. session. What is the P.A.B. you may ask if you are new here? P.A.B. is a monthly session, a monthly support group where we join and try to be helpful to each other, and I will is a place to ask questions and get answers, and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability, but you never know. So you have any questions about painting, about the channel, about me to a certain degree, I will be very happy to answer them and try to be as helpful as possible. And I'm sure if I can, someone on the chat will be. So if the sound is coming alright, which it should, if someone wants to confirm me that, I will be great. And apart from that, again, this is a monthly thing. So usually about the end of each month we will gather here. So if you are seeing this in the future and you missed the live streaming, you will have another chance on the next month. Okay, sounds great. Everything seems to be fine. So before we start with the questions, you're on FM, that's awesome. If you have any questions, you can start putting them on the chat. But before I start answering the questions, a couple bit of news. The next video coming this Friday is this chap over here, a Stormcast Tunnel. I managed to get a hold of one of the new ones. This is the free model that Games Workshop shops are giving away, and he's obviously a Hallowed Night Stormcast, and I will say I'm really enjoying painting this way more than the classic gold. So really hope you like it. They went for a bit more a natural, realistic tone to the very blue ones that is painted for the box art or for the example given in the book, and I'm really happy with it. So I really hope you liked it. And apart from this, I also have another project coming soon. It involves me and another big YouTuber, and it's going to start on September. I prefer not to say who it is or what it is because I don't want to jinx it. He already said yes, but you know how these things work. If everything is going along well, I will give you a bit more news on the next P.A.B, so stay tuned for that, because I think it's going to be awesome and it's going to be a lot of fun. But in the meantime, let's jump into the questions. We have Mark, Chelsea, Diego, Joshua, Gregory, Tom, Team Orange. Hello, Team. I'm really glad you at last managed to get into one of this. And Oliver, always nice to see you. So again, if you have any questions, please put them on the chat. I'm willing to answer them and really very excited about that. And if you are a Patreon or channel member, tier many times or above, don't forget you can send your minis for review. And if you don't know what it is and you're new to the channel, I make a miniature review of all my Patreons and channel members up to a certain level. They submit minis, I review them, and we have a lot of fun. That is coming at the beginning of August. So anyone that has a mini to send, please send them. Okay, that's a couple of questions. So let's start with Mark. Says, why do you hate blue? Well, I actually just don't like painting it. It's just a kind of a meme, a kind of a funny thing that came out. If you want to know the full story, you can watch my How to Paint Blue video, which is very old. It's actually the first video where you can hear me speak on camera. And go watch that video, and then you can watch the Ultramarines video. I just don't like painting blue. I never liked painting blue, and I always find it a bit of a chore. when I was making that video, the how to paint blue, I thought it was funny just to say that on camera, just like that. It wasn't. I just thought it would be funny, so I did. People laughed and liked it, so I just thought it would be like kind of a good, a good meme for the channel, so to speak. So I kept on doing it, but I genuinely don't like painting blue. So that is true. It's just hate is a very strong word, of course. Chelsea, have you ever considered doing a diorama? If not, would you? And what would you do? Yes, I have. I'm actually doing one for the next Golden Demon, but you will have to wait to see that. It's just such a chore. Sorry. It's just something that I don't really enjoy, but this idea is something that I always wanted to make, so I'm very excited about that. And that's the reason why I'm doing it. But this is going to be something very rare. Which called a lot of these photos you showed on Facebook today. Yes, I did show a couple of pictures of the Stormcast you have just seen, but again, just for you guys, this is not posted anywhere else. Here is sorry, that way. Here it is a bit more advanced, so you can see the blue and the desaturated red leather, which I'm really happy with, and you will see you will be able to see this on Friday. So really excited about that. Mark again, thanks for answering. I hate painting yellow, absolutely hate it. Yellow is my favorite color to paint because I find it really fun, challenging, and entertaining, and it's always it's always very striking. That's why I like yellow so much, and also yellow makes everything better. So if you sometimes have a paint job and it looks a bit dull, a bit boring, just add a tiny bit of yellow into all the highlights, and boom, you will have like much punchier result. So yellow makes everything better, and yellow is not difficult, and you just have to be patient and know how to work with the transparency of the paint, which is something natural to yellows. So you need to know that and how to work with the transparency on your on your behalf and not against you. Team, have you ever tried a new paint or some related stuff like painting glasses or makeup brush that change the way you paint? Yes, to me, one of the best things that I did was basically this. The ultra matte varnish, this changed a lot to me, because once you apply this to your surfaces, you can see all your mistakes. And it may seem like something bad, but it helps you realize where you need to improve, because this hides no crimes at all. If you have something that is not well blended or not well done, this will show it. So, and oh, sorry. And if you need some, oh, just wait a second, I'm just going to do it properly. Okay, here we are again. Sorry, I just had to clear my throat properly. So this helped me a lot. And also, I still remember the first time I tried using inks. That also like kind of blew my mind open to a lot of things that I wasn't considering. So yeah. Apart from that, just use. Oh, I just had another more thing. Using a large brush. I was using teeny tiny brushes like everyone else, like 2 zeros, 3 zeros. The excess brush from Games Workshop, the Artificer XS, way too small, ridiculously small. It serves no purpose whatsoever. I know a lot of painters like them. Richard Gray uses it, very small brushes, a lot, and he's much better than I am. But I really think using a large brush will help you improve your painting a lot. Yep. Diego, Kolinsky brushes are quite expensive. According to your experience, which is the best way to clean them? I don't clean them. That's a very good question, actually, but I just don't clean them. I have my brushes here. I rinse them in water. When I'm done with them, I form the tip in my mouth. I'm not going to lie, I do that, and then I don't clean them. I have a soap brush somewhere down there, and I haven't used it in months. So, for better or for worse, it just works for me. But if you want to clean them, I've seen a couple of very good videos about it on YouTube. Just take some the Master's soap or any other brush soap or any other very delicate hair soap and just clean them thoroughly. Never push the hair onto your hand or anything. Just drag them backwards so the hair kind of flows in the right direction. Then rinse them off and let them dry, and they should be golden. And always use the caps. If you are leaving your process on the outside for a long time, cap them and leave them to rest. And another very important thing: never store your brushes like this. Don't do that. It will run the rest of the water tainted of the paint tainted water into the ferrule, and it will ruin them very quickly. I always store them on my desk horizontally. Ideally, you want to store them upside down, but I don't have the means, so I just do it. Well, there you go. I just do it horizontally, and it works fine for me. Oh no, that's a tease. Yes, I will probably tell you on the Patreon Discord. So once this is done, I will just give you the news, but I don't want to say it publicly, because once you say something, you kind of a slave to your own words. So I just want to keep this quiet because I'm really excited about it and I don't want to jinx it, basically. So yeah. Wolf, can you recommend any metal files for minis? I'm thinking replacing mine with near footage. Yes, I can. Because my job, my day-to-day job, is goldsmithing, and I know a couple of things about files. So I can. This is my advice: don't bother with any hobby files. Don't bother with any hardware store files. They are all trash. Go and look online for a set of fine jewelry files. The small ones, not the big ones. The small needle files for jewelry making. There are a lot of companies. I highly recommend Valorve, or however it's pronounced. It's a Swiss company. I will just write it down for you. That's the name of the company and what you should be looking for. They are not cheap, but you're going to use them for very soft metals and for plastic, and for resins. So that set will last you until you retire. That will last you for a lifetime. I bought mine 6 years ago now, my own set for my job, and they are all working fine. And I use them daily, very aggressively on relatively hard metals, and they are just like the day I bought them. So do that. Don't bother with any other thing. Buy once, cry once, and forget about it. You are going to love them. Joshua, gosh, love that red leather. Can't wait to see it painted. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's a couple of layers of contrast over mechanical standard gray. So we are starting from mechanical standard gray, then flash series red, then a very thin down black Templar, and then a couple of highlights. I think it was cone red, and then cone red mixed with Cadian, and then Cadian flash them. So very, very easy to do. Fantastic result for a very realistic and desaturated red leather. So just another advice in general if you're going to paint leather. If you finish with a flesh tone, it will always look on point because leather is flesh. So that always works. If you don't know how to highlight a piece of leather, mix a flesh tone into the base color and you will be golden. Unless it's something like blue, of course. Who paints leather blue? So, the Gorka Morka, are you right now? Are you playing any game? If you do, what's your favorite faction army? Un saludo. I only play. I made the choice a very long time ago to concentrate myself into two gaming systems: one fantasy and one science fiction, because time is very limited. I do this, which takes a massive amount of time, so I can only really play two games fully, and I just prefer to play two games like really well, and then forget about playing a lot of things half-assed. So I play Kings of War and I play Dead Sun. That's it. And I chose those systems because Mantic has the best rules in the whole wargaming industry to me. So they are solid rules, very good, very well written rules as well. So there is no confusion whatsoever when with them. I've never ever needed a judge to come to my table to decide because one rule is not clear and we are fighting over it. It's so well written. It's just perfect. So and they are always fast and fun games. So yes, that is what I do. For Dead Zone, I mainly play as Asterians. I have a couple more warbands or strike teams, as they are called, but they are not even painted, so I don't really play with them. Once I have time, I will probably paint them. And for Kings of War, I have my lizardmen or salamanders, as they are called in that game, and I have an undead army. Both are painted, and then I have my Bretonnians, which are not painted, but I usually play with them in friendly games just because I really like the army, how it plays. And I also have high elves, or elves, because in the game they're just called elves. I have elves, and I have what was Imperium, which is now League of Rhodia. And do I have any more army? Yes, I have an ogre army made with a Stonecast. So yeah, I have a lot of armies for Kings of War. Gregory Kolb, yellow's more range than a color. That's why I struggle with it. Yes, all colors are a bit of range. There are a couple of colors that don't admit really much range at all, but yellow is such a fun color. You can go very cold, you can go warm, you can go desaturated. There's a lot of things to play with it. I really like very vibrant, intense, warm yellow. That's what I really enjoy painting. Hey, whole tube. Chelsea, how big a brush are we talking? I just watched a video of Banshee painting a face with basically a wall painter's chisel brush. I'm sure that's big too. Yeah. The smallest brush I use is the Rosemary Series 33 size 3, which I'm guessing it will be quite similar to a Raphael 8404 size 1. Yeah, they're about the same size, and that or above. So I really like the size 4, and but that is more for busts and that kind of stuff. You are starting to go into very big territory. But yes, the Rosemary size 3 is just perfect for me. Is the perfect size brush for me. But you're painting the larger the scale, the bigger the brush you want to use, basically. And yes, also don't look too much into Banshee. He's just mad. And yes, that brush is too big for everyone but him. So Christian, hi guys. Juan, what do you do when a paint job does not go well at all? Do you keep going for to fix it, strip it, or put it aside? Well, that's a very good question because I had that just happened to me with Lord Croak, which is in a box. So that should answer your question. But I just left it in a box because that was a project that was to paint live stream, and I don't have time to paint it. But once I have time to paint it, I'm going to strip it and start again because I don't like at all where it is going, like in the general sense. I really don't like it. So I'm going to strip it and I'm going to start again. But if it's just something that you don't like it happened to me when I was painting the orc knob for the heavy contrast orcs video, you can just keep painting and you can fix it. Go watch the latest or one of the latest, because Beans puts out videos like I don't know, like 3 a day or something like that. But if you go and watch one of the latest Beans Venturella videos, he actually talks about that paint job not going well and just persevering it until you manage to just do it, to just take it where you want it to be. Marek Ketelar, Juan, quick thank you for content provided and the high cringe memes. Thank you very much. I have a lot of fun doing them. I know they are cringe, but just that part of the fun. HawkTube, I followed your advice about panel by panel contrast work on my Stormcast, and I'm really happy with them. I shared a pic on your Stormcast. Yeah, that looked fun. I didn't knew it was you, and that looked fantastic. So thank you for sharing. I love seeing people showing me what they've done with my videos. It's always a proud and humbling moment, and I'm really happy that you enjoyed it. Okay, Joshua goes, I like Winsor & Newton brush cleaner. It keeps my Kolinsky lasting maybe 20% longer. At least they tend to keep a nice sharp tip longer. I clean my main drivers maybe every 3 days. Yeah, if you're going to clean them, I think once a week is more than enough. I just don't do it. I'm just lazy. And Rosemary & Co.'s brushes are very cheap compared to other Kolinsky brushes. So my brushes usually last half a year or so. So once the brushes go down, I just use another one and don't bother. It's just half a year is more than enough for me. And it's a bit sad because I know Kolinsky brushes can last for a lifetime if you use them for their intended purposes, which is watercolors. But we destroy them using them for acrylics. But what are you going to do? It's just how we what we need. So yeah. Olivier, follow-up questions. What is that? What is that? Oh yeah, I almost missed it. Follow-up question to the one Diego asked. Since you don't do anything in particular to clean them, what's the lifespan of your brushes? I just answered that. About 6 months for me. But I do paint a lot, and I could maybe use them longer for like I do use them longer for washes and general like base coats and so on. But the 6 months is the life that the tip stays in like perfectly sharp condition. So about 6 months is what a tip lasts, and then I can use the brush for other stuff. The life of a brush is very long, and its purpose changes throughout the time that it stays alive. The older it gets, the worse jobs that it has to do, but there is always a job for a brush. Even if it's really destroyed, because sometimes you may need a brush to put a bit of texture onto something that you know has a bit of uncured super glue, and you know it's going to ruin, but you want to apply it now because otherwise you will have to wait too long. So you take the oldest brush you have, apply the texture paint or whatever, and then throw the brush into the garbage can, and that's it. Oh, sorry. Team Orange, how big is your pile of shame? I'm glad that the minion has orcs whom I don't collect, so mine doesn't grow. No, well, mine doesn't grow for now. So I don't have as much of a pile of shame as many others because, again, so my pile of shame is basically, there's a bit more, but it's basically Dead Zone strike teams are GCPS and Beermin. Those are my two unpainted and enforcers. So that's three Dead Zone strike teams, and then it's my Bretonnian, High Elf, Imperium, and Ogre armies. So 4 armies. These are full 2,000 point armies. What I do when I want to make a new army is make a list that I think it's fun, and then buy just those minis. Maybe a couple more to have some options, but around 2,000 to 2,200 points. That's what I buy. I usually build them because I'm really excited about them, and then have them waiting. But I never buy like 10,000 points of something because I think it's a bit ridiculous. But I will never judge. Alex Vansgrove, do you ever paint bust large scales? No, I don't like it. I have a bust there that is. You can see me paint it in one of the live streams. If you go into the live streams playlist, you will see me paint the bust like a kind of an knockoff Inquisitor type model, and you can see it very. That I really like it. I'm enjoying it a lot, but it's so much work that right now I don't have really the time to invest in it. So it's waiting for a bit until I have time. But I'm going to finish it. It's just, for me, it takes too much time, and I really enjoy painting 28 millimeters more. So when I sit down to paint and I have to choose between painting something for me that is 28 or painting something that is a bust, I just go for 28 millimeters because I just enjoy it more. Chelsea, do you read much lore? Do you read unrelated stuff to relax from painting? I read a lot. I like reading a lot. I have a lot of books. You will see that is just a small section of my of our book collection, because it's not all mine. It's mine and my wife's, and I have also a very large digital book collection because I have a digital ebook on my that I carry with me everywhere, and I read that while I'm commuting. So that's usually what I do. And I really like everything that is fantasy or sci-fi, especially like good quality of both of those genres. Which I've read some Warhammer novels back in the day, but I tried to go back to them, and it's just not my cup of tea. They're not bad, but they're also not really that good. So I just prefer to read something like Elric of Melniboné, which I'm rereading now and really enjoying. Again, I've probably read those series of books like 10 times now, and each time I go back, it's just as good as the first time. So what I go to do, and I really enjoy like really good sci-fi. But yeah. G Diesel, do you think you will paint any Horus Heresy miniatures in the future? Maybe, but as I said a very long time ago, I don't plan on painting any more Marines, because I already painted one for each legion. I know there are some legions that have a different color scheme and whatnot. I might at some point paint one of those, so it's probably Emperor's Children and Sons of Horus, which are the two that are not really covered, because if you want to paint any of the others, you can find the ways, but it's true that Emperor's Children and Sons of Horus don't have anything in my video collection that could help you paint them. So I might, and this is a very hypothetical answer, I might do it at some point, but not in the near future, because I don't want to. Do you have plans for the 50k subs? Not really. That's something funny. I asked Vince Venturella the same question when he was nearing 50k, which was not long ago. I think it was the end of 2020, when he was almost about to cross the 50k mark, and I always thought, when I get to 50k, I'm going to celebrate it. But the truth is, I don't know what to do. I don't have any plans really. So I will probably make like a live stream like this and to celebrate it. Maybe have some cake or something made and I will eat it in front of you, or something like that. But no, I don't have any big plans. I totally agree with your opinion about Mantic games. It's unlucky you that's limited time that you think you enjoy Vanguard. No, I really don't enjoy Vanguard. I actually backed the Kickstarter for Vanguard, and I think it's awful. I think it's one of the worst games I've ever played, and I'm really sorry if you like Vanguard. I'm really sorry to everyone that likes Vanguard. I understand why people like it, but to me, for what I look into a game, it's absolutely awful. It's a game with about 10 minutes per side, so a skirmish game that takes as long to play as a full Kings of War game. So it's just too slow. It's slow, it's clumsy, it's full of, once you are like in a big sort of melee in it's just full of markers, full of it's very confusing to play, and again very slow, clumsy. I really don't like it, and I'm really sorry, but I really don't like it. I tried it. I took part in a full league, so for a full year we played Vanguard, and I hated every single game I played of Vanguard. I hated it. So at the end of that league, I did the full league, because once I commit to something, I usually do it. I did the full league, and once I did, I just said I just binned everything that I from the Kickstarter, and I have the rulebook somewhere. All the scenery. I donated everything that I could donate to my local shop, so they can use it for their games and leagues. So we have a very active Mantic games community around here, so I donated everything that I didn't want to keep to them, and that's it. Oscar, again, any multi-base unit to show with amazing theme? I have. That's something very particular about me, is that I'm very old school. I like my minis not to be on a multi-base. I like them separate, and also I use foam boxes with like small cutouts for each mini. So moving to multi-bases will mean that I will have to basically throw out all my foam and redo them, so I don't do that. But I have thematic bases, and I will probably do a couple of videos showcasing my Undead in my Lizardmen army very soon, just to fill a bit of a gap in August, which I will be taking a week off. So I may put together like a spinning video of each unit of the army, something like that, just to show, because everyone seems to want to see them, so I might do it. Why not? So I will be a couple of easy videos to make that will get some views and like fill in the views gap for that month. Mark Jarvis commented something and then backed up. Oh, it seems to have asked the question a bit lower down. Would you consider doing a live stream of smaller models? Lord Crow was too big. Lord Crow was way too big. And yes, I might do. If I... The thing for the live streams, I always thought about painting something that I want to paint for myself. Like something that I want to paint for myself, and doing the live stream will force me to paint it. So I might do it. I might just use it to paint or to keep painting my elf army. So that seems like a good plan. So I might do it. The problem is I'm usually very, very tired. So those hours I may prefer to just use them to rest, spend a bit of time with the family and so on. So I have to think about it. Charlie, also, do you have any plans when you end up covering all the factions in iOS 40k, other than games, general techniques, materials? I'm sure that will never happen, because at the rate that I paint and the amount of things that I have still to do, and tutorials that are just basically piling as I speak because I can't paint fast enough. I doubt that will ever happen, but if that happens, I will probably move into something like, I don't know, Necromunda, Blood Bowl or something like that, and have enough to fill my days. I don't like... There's a very good discussion topic about there, so about explaining techniques and so on. And that is like another route, which I don't really like to do, not because I don't find those videos good. They are fantastic people. Fumikito is doing amazing videos about just technique, like this is feathering, this is wet blending, this is glazing, this is, you know, very short, quick, very well explained, very well shown videos. So if you want that, there is plenty of that. My issue with that is that if you start with that route, there is a very small pool of videos. There is so much you can say, and unless you are Vince Venturella, which somehow manages to make 1,000 videos about techniques, but for the most people, that is a very small pool of content. So it's good content, and I also feel it's done. It has been done really well by others, so I don't see the need to do them. And I really enjoy making this kind of masterclass type of videos. I think that's really something that I really enjoy. So I think I will keep doing this. Maybe not everything done with contrast paints, so showing like regular painting, let's just say, but which is a stupid thing to say because I consider contrast paints to be just regular painting, but not every single thing needed to be done with contrast paints type of video. But I really use contrast paints a lot in my regular painting, so there will be some contrast paints, but so I might do that, or I might just keep making heavy contrast videos because I really enjoy making them, and kind of a theme for the channel, which I don't mind, if I'm honest. By the way, Team Orange says, by the way, in one of the recent videos, Vince admitted that doing an MMN isn't fun. Do you agree? No, I actually don't agree. I think it's really good fun. The problem is, if you're doing like something that is all NMM, like a Stormcast or like a Space Marine, it's very good fun doing one leg. It's when you have to do the whole model where it's not that it's not fun, is that it can get a bit tedious. And that is a different thing. So there is a very good reason why I haven't finished my Spectre Knight, which is down there in the cabinet waiting for it to be finished, is because I know I need like a full week just to finish the armor, slowly, surely, making sure everything is perfectly blended. So I know I need a week free to finish it, and I just don't feel like I have the mental strength to tackle it now, but I will in the future. Mark Jarvis is the question that was deleted. Hello Juan, hope you are well. I want to do white scars based on your contrast Tau, but I want to sculpt some mustaches, fur and hair to make them more like white scars. Any tips on sculpting? For sculpting, I always recommend go and watch Tom Mason's videos. Go on YouTube and look for Tom Mason. I will just link. You know what I do? I will just link you the channel. He's the best sculpting channel on all YouTube. There you go, Tom Mason. I will just link it. The logo is extremely clever because it's the green and white putty, so that's awesome. Go watch his videos for general sculpting tips, and for doing hair or doing fur, I have a video on doing fur, so that should be useful for you. So that is easy. He also has a video of doing fur, which is a bit more detailed, so you may want to see it because he goes into the same technique that I use, but also does other types of fur, which is really, really useful. And he's a much better sculptor than I am, so that also helps. And for mustaches, if you want like very long mustaches, like standing outside of the face, that is really hard to do. You probably will have to sculpt like one half of the mustache over something that doesn't stick, like this kind of bags. Sculpt on top of this, like the exact shape of the mustache you want, and then very carefully lifting it up and placing it on the model, and very gently, and then push. It's really hard to do. Trust me, it's really hard to do. If you want a kind of more white scar mustache, which I don't know how the mustaches are. Let me just see. Oh. Oh my god. Oh, okay, so let me see. Oh yeah, it's easier. So it's kind of this flowy mustache from the side. So have your regular Space Marine head. Make a really thin sausage of green stuff and just place it like over the face like this. And you don't necessarily need to make it longer than the face. You can add those bits that are hanging out later on. So just do like this. And press it again so it sticks, and then mold it a bit into shape, and that should be enough. More than enough, and then the middle strip here. And once that is dry, you can add like another very thin pieces of green stuff, stack them to the end, and blend them together. And that should be enough for basic paint job, for basic mini. You don't really need to go into much detail for 28mm. But yeah, those are my tips. Apart from watch my sculpting videos and watch Tom Mason's video, which he goes into very long detail into different types of putty, different mixes of different types of putty that work really well. Tools, what tools you will need, how to make your own tools. He is a master, so just watch his videos. Alex, if you were a Space Marine, which chapter would you be and why? I've always liked Dark Angels. I'm not sure why, but I always liked Dark Angels, specifically Deathwing. But I wouldn't like to be a Space Marine. It seems like an awful life. But if I had to choose one, Deathwing, Dark Angel, because they are cool. Do you still not like blue? I still don't like painting blue for some reason. I like it when it's finished, and I'm quite good at painting blue. I'm really happy. So you can see the picture show of the Stormcast. I'm really happy with a trick that I found to make blue more enjoyable to paint for me is use teals to highlight blue. So you have a regular blue, use a teal to highlight it, and so you are adding a bit of yellow into the blue, making it brighter, making it look better. It also blends better because that tiny bit of yellow adds a very nice transparency. It's not as opaque as a regular light blue, which has a lot of white, so that helps a lot. Wolf, okay, Wolf. Do you do many sub-assemblies on smaller models? If so, do you have any tips on how to assemble them after without taking paint off, leaving gaps, etc.? I do as little as less sub-assemblies as I can. So if I can get away with not doing sub-assemblies, I won't do anything. But if I can't get away with it, for example, this guy, this shield is in the way, so like that, and I think he's not even glued to the base, so I can have good access to the inside there. But that's like the minimum. And what I do is I make sure once it's I usually clean everything, make sure it fits and goes in and out well, without any paint on it, like a raw plastic. Then I prime everything, and then make sure those pieces slide in and out nicely once they are primed. And if they don't, I make the hole a bit bigger, sand a bit the male peg so it slides better. So I do whatever I need to do to make sure that all the pegs on all the pieces slide together well. And afterwards, it's just a matter of making sure you know how to put it back together. So before painting it, try to build it and build it. If it's not one of these easy to build models, which are really the best option for sub-assemblies, it's a regular model and I need to just glue it in place. It's not like much registration. I just make sure I know where I want to put it, and I make sure that there are no gaps when I'm building it. And just before gluing the final steps, I make sure again that the connection is solid and there are no gaps and it has a solid connection, and just glue it together. Yes, I usually use super glue because I don't handle my models too much. And if I'm going to handle my models, I just use plastic glue very carefully. And I don't use ultra thin, thin plastic glue, because that's going to ruin everything. I use one of the thicker versions and just very little, and then make sure it sticks well. Plastic glue will melt the paint and the plastic, so it doesn't matter if it has paint in it, because the glue will eat through the paint and attack the plastic on both sides, and it will be a solid connection, so you won't have any issues. Chelsea, have you read The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan? I started reading The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan, and after a certain point, I thought it just wasn't going anywhere. I loved the first books. I thought they were fun, they were good, and then at a certain point, I just felt, well, this is not going anywhere. And just reading through hundreds of pages, and it's just nothing is happening. Nothing is happening, and I just lost all motivation for that book. It's in my ebook, the whole saga. So if I ever find the motivation again, I will keep on reading. But it was just a drag. It just felt like a drag to me. I think those books could be made a third of the length that they were, and they will be much better books. That's my opinion, of course. G Diesel, Emperor's Children and Sons of Horus are two of my favorite color schemes in Heresy. Yep. So those are the only ones that I might do. The other ones, I can assure you that won't happen. So any other Legion is not going to happen. Those two, they might happen. So I cannot say if they are going to happen, but they might happen. Bungus Fungus. Hello Juan, will it be advised to paint NMM on much smaller objects like necklaces, jewelry, etc. that use more detail closer to the face? Thank you. If you are painting everything in NMM, you don't have a choice. And if you're painting the rest in TMM, just paint everything in TMM. It just looks better. So that's the answer. You can paint very small objects in NMM. The problem is, the smaller the object, the more difficult it is, because you need to add all those reflections and secondary reflections on very small surfaces. It can be done. Use magnifier glasses, use a very sharp tip brush, and be very careful. And you will have to correct mistakes all the time, but it can be done. Chelsea, if you sat on a stream eating cake in front of me, I would demand homemade cookies on your exile. If you come here, I'm sure my wife will make you cookies, because she does cookies for everyone. Yom Saddleworth. I have some very old LED slam minis from early Warhammer Fantasy. I'm doing a conversion for one of them as a classic Lord Croak, but I need ideas on how to paint texture or texture advantages over skin. So you have a regular slam, you want to make it look like it has bandages. My advice would be sculpt them. They're really easy to do. just literally make a very thin strip of green stuff, just roll it around. Or if in the case of this lamb, which is kind of with his arms stuck together to the body, just add strips of very thin strips of green stuff, and you will get a much better result than you try to just paint it. And if you mean you have already an old croak, which has bandages, and you want to add a bit more texture, I advise you doing it kind of as you would leather, so scratches on all the surfaces. You can take a look at the Ulfen Watch video, which is very well described there. That's my advice. Alex Eventual, if you were an orc, how orky would you be and why? I'm pretty orky, I guess. I would probably be a speed freak because I really like red. And I really like the kind of thing that going on. So, Evil Sons, I guess. It would be either Evil Sons or it would be Bad Moon, because I really like yellow. But I will have a lot of Daka, that's for sure, because why wouldn't you? Oscar, I want to thank you particularly for the NMM videos you posted. Helped me a lot. Thank you very much for watching them. It was a pleasure to make, and I have more planned and coming. I just need to finish the damn Spectre Knight before I can start making the last one, which will be Plague Knight, and I will do 2 different colors of green NMM. And that will be the end of the NMM series, because I think I have pretty much covered everything that is possible to do with NMM. Casey, hello Casey, nice to see you again. Would 100% Spain in an Olympic paint event? I'm by no means the best Spanish painter there is, sadly, because Spain is a very hard country if you want to go into painting Olympics with, because we have a lot of good painters. The Spanish painting team is very hard, is very contested. Christian, please keep making heavy contrast videos. They are unique, fantastic quality, and I personally use them in between projects to motivate myself. Plus, you learn a lot about how to use them. Yeah, I have a lot of fun making them. So, as long as I'm having fun, I will be making them. This will also search for Mexique on YouTube. He's on Pretty in Death White Scars. Yeah, he's done he does everything grimdark, so but extremely high quality, and the guy just paints like a dream. So 100% recommended. It's a shame he doesn't make more videos, but I really get it. Kapamaru 78 Tau color scheme: blue, black, and orange, or red, black, and blue. I would red, black, and orange, or red, black, and blue. I would do red, black, and gray, because Farsight is the best Tau. What would you do anything that is not Farsight? But keep doing the masterclass. They teach us so much more than others basic techniques video. I think so. I think a masterclass video, even if you don't if you're not interested in the basic topic, you will see a mini from start to finish, which is also I always think is more helpful than just single technique videos, but that's just me, maybe. Good day, Longwen. Mark Jarvis, thanks one for the link and tips, much appreciated. Thank you for the recommendation. Good to see you too. Sorry I haven't been around as much. Don't worry. I mean, whatever you are, I know you went through a kind of bit rough spot, so I really hope you are better now. Chelsea, do you plan your model on Photoshop before painting it? No, I don't. I plan it here. I have a very good spatial vision and color vision on my head. I know how something is going to look just by thinking about it. I don't plan models on Photoshop because that's a lot of work. It's really quite a lot of work to do it, and I don't need it to. But it's a perfectly valid option if you want to see if a color scheme is going to work or not. But there are several tricks you can do to make any color scheme more or less go well together. So, for example, I'm just going to bring up my Stormcast again. So, you will probably see that the armor has a kind of a greenish bluish tone. So I wanted to add a bit more contrast. So I wanted red, but you can't really use bright red because he was going to have like a saturated blue shoulder pads. So what I did is desaturated the red. That way, it's providing that contrast, that tonal, that hue contrast without and that temperature contrast without robbing any attention from the whole paint job, and so that works really well. So if you're going to add like directly opposite colors in the color wheel, make sure just one of them is desaturated, so that way it doesn't rob any attention from the main event, which should be your main color. In this case, the blue of the armor and the blue on the shoulder pads. And also, as again, another trick, the armor has a slightly bluish but also kind of greenish tint due to the Griff Charger Grey, and the shoulder pads are just blue. So there's always a risk that greenish blue and the regular bright blue clash together. So that is no good. So what I did is I painted them regular blue, but for the highlights I use a teal for the mid highlight. So that's tempered glass blue, which has a tiny bit of yellow in it, a tiny bit of green tint. But for the final highlight, I used green. I used Gauss Blaster green, and that helps merge everything together. So use similar hues in everything, or add in, or use one single color to, or use one single color to highlight everything, and that will help. Even if you think it, even if you're not sure, that will make everything more cohesive. So I really hope that helps. You returned. How many spore sacks would you have and why? I have 2. You don't need more than 2. 2 is the right amount of spore sacks. These are better now, thank you. I'm really glad. So, with that spore sack question, which seems like very appropriate to end this, we have been here for about an hour. I will let you make the last round of fast questions, and if there aren't any, I will just move on and go watch a bit of telly, and maybe paint a bit more. I'm not sure, but as always, it's been a real pleasure to have you here. It's always fun, and I always have a great time. The more P.A.Bs I do, the funnier and the more entertaining they are becoming with the time, which I think is great. And it's also when is the review? Oh, that's a good question. The review is going to be the first week of August. When? I am not sure. So let's see, the first week of August. So it goes from the 2, which is Monday, and the Friday 6. So probably the Friday 6th of August, that will be the next review. I'm really excited about it. You were the first one to submit, Chelsea, so I'm really thankful. And you will be the first one to be reviewed because you were the first one to submit. Always eager. Always. I think you have been first or second one since you started participating. Last question, Oscar. It's hard to paint the Dead Zone models for the quality of the minis sometimes. It makes to care so much for it. Oh yeah, some of the Dead Zone models, especially the older ones, like we are talking Asterian ciphers, I know them very well, sadly. The old Marauders are quite nice. The old Enforcers are as bad as the Asterians. The only thing that I had to do, especially the modern plastics, are all very nice. The Enforcers are nice, the Asterians are nice, the Forge Fathers are really nice. but some of the older stuff it's really rough. What I had to do, you basically have to freehand all the detailing, because there's almost no detail there. It's almost washed away, and completely washed away if you got a bad casting. So yeah, you have to basically freehand all the detail. I did that for my ciphers. I did that for my Kalishi, for my Asterians, which I can't show you the picture now, but they have faces. So people don't usually, but they are like elves, half naked elves with blades running around, and they have faces, of course, and the face has no detail. So where the eye is just basically a flat socket. They are terrible models. So I had to basically figure out where the detail should go and just freehand it in. Yeah, not ideal, but that's the only solution. That's why when someone wants to get in Dead Zone, I always advise him to go for a faction that I know has almost all plastic, or basically all plastic, all of the modern stuff, because they are going to have a better time. They're going to paint it with more enthusiasm, and they will play the game and be happier. But if you have to paint it, make sure you love the models. I really like the Asterian aesthetic, so it was a chore, but I now have all the ciphers that I need painted, so I'm done with them. And I can paint just the nice plastic stuff. What Elder aspect shrine would you choose? You have to choose warp spiders. They are the way coolest one. How worried should I be about you stealing my woman? If you are Chelsea's partner, I think quite a bit. No, jokes aside, if you're Chelsea's partner, not at all. I'm happy. I would just say that I am a happy man. But it seems that's the end of it. It's an hour 3 minutes. Seems like a good amount of time. We had some fun questions, serious questions, and so thank you all for being here again. In about a month, we will be here again. So tune in at the end of August for another P.A.B. session, and I really hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope you had a good time. I personally did, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.